And at the very bottom, well, on the first paragraph, say, very truly, William D. Silkworth. Now, the physician who, at our request, gave us this letter has been kind enough to enlarge upon his views and another statement which follows. In this statement, he confirms what we have suffered. Alcoholic torture must believe. Now, this is the hit right here, that the body of the alcoholic is quite as abnormal as his mind. It did not satisfy us to be told that we could not control our drinking just because we were maladjusted to life. Now, that maladjusted to life, for me, I was doing fucked up shit before I started drinking. The drink was just a symptom to bury what it was that I was doing. I was selfish before I started all that shit. I was lying before all of that shit. That we were in full flight from reality or were outright mental defectives. These things were true to some extent, in fact, to a considerable extent with some of us. But we are sure that our bodies were sickened as well. And our belief, any picture of an alcoholic which leaves out the physical factor is incomplete. Now, this is where they talk about the next really, really powerful thing for me. The doctor's theory that we have an allergy to alcohol interests us. As laymen, our opinion as it sounds may, of course, mean little. But as the ex-problem drinkers, we can say that his explanation makes good sense. It explains many things for which we can't otherwise account. Now that allergy, and that's what they're talking about. When I put this alcohol in my body, it does something different than other people. It changes me. That one drink is over with. That one. It's not, and somebody said this in a meeting, it's not the last car on the train that kills you, it's the first one. It's the engine. It's that first one that gets me every time. Yeah, because, and it's the phenomenon of craving. I can't stop. And people who aren't addicts, they won't understand that. For instance, my mom, she'll get a glass of wine and she'll drink half of it and put it down or pour it out. And I'm looking like, what the fuck? You wasting good wine. I'm not going to just have one. If you're anything like me, one is not going to be enough.
I gotta get to the level where I want to be.
Yeah, I got to get more. And it's going to continue to go.
Why is it that we always more?
They call it the phenomenon of craving, man. Like, once I start, I can't stop, And I did a little more research, man, into it. And it was called brain theory, And what it broke down, whenever we do something that feels good, it releases dopamine in our brains, right? And that's natural. We naturally produce dopamine. Now, when we start drinking and using hard drugs, it releases a lot more dopamine to levels that our brain is saturated with all that, and we get high. We get that real good feeling, and the body and mind is an incredible thing. Like, if anyone's ever worked out, like when you stop working out, like you lose your weight a little bit or whatever, but then when you start back working out again, you get real big real fast the same way. Like, your body remembers that. And after you stop using, those dopamine levels go down a lot. You feel me? So when you stop using, your brain ain't producing no dopamine. So now you irritable, you know what I'm saying? You mad all the time because your brain doesn't have any of those feel-good chemicals. And that's what, for me, I think it has a lot to do with that. That craving. Your brain and your body, it remembers that. It remembers how good that shit felt. It used to feel good to get high. If anybody say that it didn't, they lying.
You got a question? No, I was just gonna, he pretty much said it. Like, yeah, I've noticed that, like, if you work out constantly, like on a daily basis, and then you stop working out for a while, you get like that depressing feeling, like that you would get after you come down from a high.
Yeah.
We're trying to stay like sober for like a week. If you were a heavy addict, you feel like shit. You just feel depressed. Like you say, very irritable. Very, you're just not yourself. So yeah, that's pretty much what I was gonna say though.
Yeah.
It's like the same way, like you smoke a cigarette for a whole week, right? And then you turn around, get smoke cigarette again, and then you get dizzy and get like a
Mm-hmm.
Just from being without for a week or two.
Yeah.
Feel something like that, right?
Yeah, definitely, man. And it's crazy. It's a real crazy feeling, man. That's why, like, when they said a phenomenon, something that can't really be explained. I just know that I've got it. And when I first heard about it, it said, "Oh, I got a disease. It's an allergy." I thought it was bullshit. Like, it sounds like a cop out, but really thinking about what I did for the sake of one more, it starts to make a lot of sense. And then he goes on to say, men and women drink essentially because they like the effect produced by alcohol. The sensation is so elusive that while they admit it is injurious, they cannot, after a time, differentiate the truth from the false. To them, their alcoholic life seems the only normal one. They are restless, irritable, and discontented unless they can again experience that sense of ease and comfort which comes at once by taking a few drinks. You can substitute that with a few smokes, a few hits of crack, a few pills, anything that you want to substitute that with your drug of choice.
Craig, what page are you on?
I'm still on XXVI. Now it's XXIX.
Oh, XXI,
Yeah, at the top.
it's in the top paragraph.
Yeah.
Okay.
At once by taking a few drinks, which they see others taking with impunity. That's what I used to do, man. I see everybody else drinking, and I'll be sober for a little bit. I was like, man, I could drink like that. I'm not an alcoholic. After they have succumbed to the desire again, as so many do, and here it goes, that phenomenon of craving develops. They pass through the well-known stages of a spree, emerging remorseful, with a firm resolution not to drink again. This is repeated over and over, and unless this person can experience an entire psychic change, there is very little hope of his recovery. And this doctor, we read a lot right there. This doctor, he said that our bodies are just as abnormal as our minds. So not only my body, when I put that liquor in me, it does something different. My thinking is fucked up too. I think that it's okay to sit in that bando and smoke crack all night. To me, that shit is normal. It's okay to eat out that garbage can. That shit is not normal. Normal people don't do that shit. Normal people don't steal from their loved ones. That shit is not normal.
The store picks something up.
Yeah, or go in the store and steal. Normal people don't do that shit, bro. And unless you can have an entire psychic change, there is very little hope of their recovery. I got to get to the root of why it is that I was doing that shit. Getting with that sponsor, working those steps, getting to the bottom of my character defects, because I got to have that psychic change. And, back then they really didn't say a lot about God because some people would be turned off by God, But, I know who they're talking about. They're talking about finding God or your higher power, Because that same mind will use again. If I think the same way, I'm going to do the same shit.
That's right.
I have to do something different. Because if I don't, I'm going to do the same shit, man. Yeah. Does anybody want to comment on that, on what we read?
Mind is shot.
No, I understand, man. And now we'll just go to the next paragraph then. On the other hand, and strange as this may seem to those who do not understand, once a psychic change has occurred, the very same person who seemed doomed, who had so many problems he despaired of ever solving them, suddenly finds himself easily able to control his desire for alcohol. and the only effort necessary being that required to follow a few simple rules. You know, and that's the lick right there, man. Because I didn't know how to do any of that shit, man. All I knew how to do was, I know how to solve my problem. Let me go get me one.
Right.
The national anthem. Fuck it. It'll be all right. Fuck it.
Having a bad day, fuck it.
Yeah. You said something that hurt my feelings. Fuck it. I'm going to put this poison in me and you going to die.
It's always an excuse.
Yeah. I'm going to drink because I'm mad at you. And you don't even care nothing about that shit. You went on about your day.
You know how it is crazy how we look for a reason to do what we supposed to do.
Oh, yeah. Most of the time, I ain't even need a reason. I feel good. I got paid today, man. I deserve to go out and fuck my life up.
I'm going to celebrate.
Yeah, I'm going to go celebrate. I'm going to go out and get me one. You know? Just one, though. I ain't going to spend all the rent money this time. This time, I'm going to put the rest of the money, I'll put the rest of the money up. I'm just going to get a dub.
Yeah, okay.
You know? Just one.
I call myself put money back to me.
Oh, yeah. That's the insanity that they talk about, man. So, next paragraph. Men have cried out to me in sincere and desperate appeal. Doctor, I cannot go on like this. I have everything to live for. I must stop, but I can't. You must help me. Faced with this problem, if a doctor is honest with himself, he must sometimes feel his own inadequacy. Although he gives all that is in him, it is often not enough. One feels that something more than human power is needed to produce the essential psychic change. Through the aggregate of recoveries resulting from psychiatric effort and considerable, we physicians must admit we have little impression upon the problem as a whole. Many types do not respond to the ordinary psychological approach. And that's where he's really saying they can treat the body and give you some stuff to take care of them shakes from coming off of alcohol, or you coming off of dope. You get you some Suboxone and stuff like that. But as far as helping out your mind, they inadequate, and he says it right there. He can't. They cannot, in a medical aspect, they cannot help us. We need something else. Something else that's gonna help us. A higher power. That's the only thing that's gonna help for me. And that's what he says in the book. I do not hold with these who believe that alcoholism is entirely a problem of mental control. I've had many men who have, for example, worked a period of months on some problems or business deal which was to be settled on a certain date, favorable to them. They took a drink a day or so prior to the date, and then the phenomenon of craving at once became paramount to all other interests, so that the important appointment was not met. The men was not drinking to escape. They were drinking to overcome a craving beyond their mental control. I don't want to drink. I got an important business deal, and it's set up for when I got time to do it. I'm gonna go have one drink though. I'm gonna make it. It's in 2 days. I'm gonna make it. Fucked up.
I've never been a drinker, right? But when I take that first sip of beer or a little shot of liquor, I take a little sip, and the sip tastes good, take another little sip, another little sip.
Yeah.
Here
here come the side dishes. Yeah, I used to think that too.
Yeah.
Like, man, I'll be all right. I ain't gonna smoke no crack or do no dope, man. I'm just gonna smoke a little weed.
Right. I always try
My body gonna say, man, come on with that good shit. Stop playing.
Give me what you
Stop playing, man. Let's go over here and get 1 and 1, and let's do this thing the right way.
You know what you used to do. Stop playing with me.
Yeah, and that's the disease, man. The disease is in the mind, bro. There are many situations which arise out of the phenomenon of craving, which cause men to make supreme sacrifice rather than continue to fight. sacrificing everything. All those yets that they talking about. I ain't did that stuff yet. Eat out the garbage can, I ain't did that yet. Keep on using. It'll get there. The classification of alcoholics seems most difficult and in much detail outside the scope of this book. There are, of course, the psychopaths who are emotionally unstable. We are all familiar with this type. They are always going on the wagon for keeps. They are over-remorseful and make many resolutions, but never a decision. You know, that's big too. Like those New Year's resolutions they talk about. Yeah, man, I'm a stop smoking cigarettes this year. I read about that, man. It said like 75% of people who make a New Year's resolution broke it before the second week of January. Yeah, I don't make a resolution, but making a decision is something different. There is a type of man who is unwilling to admit that he cannot take a drink. That's me. I can take a drink. That little thing, come on, man, I can drink like everybody else. No, I can't. He plans various ways of drinking. He changes his brand. He changes his environment. There's a type who always believes that after being entirely free from alcohol for a period of time, that he can take a drink without danger. It only gets worse. You go right back to how it was. I know I did.
The same result.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a manic depressive type who is perhaps the least understood by his friends and about whom a whole chapter could be written. Then there's a type entirely normal in every respect except in the effort alcohol has upon them. They are often able, intelligent, and friendly people. Now, here's the hit. I got this highlighted right here. All these and many others have one symptom in common. They cannot start drinking without developing the phenomenon of craving. This phenomenon, as we have suggested, may be a manifestation of an allergy, which differentiates these people and sets them apart as a distinct entity. It has never been, by any treatment which we are familiar, permanently eradicated. Once you turn into a pickle, you can never go back to being a cucumber. Never. The only relief we have suggested is entire absence. That's the only cure. You can't never. So never do it again, man. And then we'll just go maybe one more paragraph. This immediately precipitates us into seeing cauldron of debate. Much has been written pro and con, but among physicians, the general opinion seems to be that most chronic alcoholics are doomed. Doomed to die. And that's what a doctor said. Not just somebody off the street, you know. And it's really, I mean, that is really powerful for me, man, because I didn't realize that I had a disease, you know. You know, and it's crazy. It was written in 1939, man.
I don't think anybody realizes they have a disease until it's too late. I mean, it happened for me anyway.
So you know what, Greg, I see this movie, very interesting.